Let me start off this video breaking down a situation to you guys. That Civic right behind me is getting a good old eBay turbo kit this winter. And if you guys have been watching the videos for a while, you would know that the STI is built. That car ain't driving in the winter. And it's getting close to the end of September right now, so the snow's probably gonna start flying in about a month or two, if we're lucky. So I decided I need me a beater. So I made a responsible decision. Well, not sure if it's responsible yet. We got a good old winter beater. And the reason I say I don't know if this was responsible yet is because we bought another damn Subaru. We got a wagon, baby. There is so much room for activities in this car. So I decided to pick up a 2002 WRX Wagon because I play hockey in the winter. I always need room for hauling stuff around, and I didn't want to get a truck yet. And unfortunately, the little 8-gen SI coupe just ain't gonna cut it no more. And that car is gonna be a race car soon. So I decided it was a good idea to pick this thing up because I got a not bad deal on it. A little bit of backstory on the car. This thing has a lot of miles on it. It's got 316,000 kilometers, but I'll show you guys something under the hood real quick. Do you guys notice anything weird before I say it? The intercooler is a little bit offset to one side because this car has the JDM EJ205 in it. Now, being that this is a WRX and it's got 300,000 kilometers on it, you should pretty much assume that it is not the original engine. The previous owner swapped a JDM EJ205 in it with about 120,000 kilometers on it, he says. So I went to look at the car. I drove the car for like 20 minutes on a test drive, and I didn't bring the camera because I don't like shoving a camera in somebody's face when I'm going to look at a car. But I drove the car lots and it honestly drives good. It does need a lot of work, but it ain't nothing we can't fix. First thing I'm going to show you guys is the rear struts. This thing's a trampoline. Also the side skirts. A couple self-tappers in there. She rusted right out under there. Next thing is the brakes. There's no way you guys are gonna be able to see in there, but this guy decided it was a good idea to slap some new brake pads on some rotors with who knows how many miles on them. When you step on the brake pedal in this car, she fights back. It is literally like, doo, 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 like, it pulsates like crazy, so she needs some new rotors. And since the struts are so clacked out, I'm not even gonna touch the tire, but on the inside of the tire in there, there's literally cords coming out of the tire. So what are we at right now? New struts, new tires, new rotors, and I haven't even started the car yet. Let's give her a little cold start for the boys. This is 100% the most quiet car I have ever owned. But that's okay, because as a daily, that means no tickets. So the cops will love me driving this car. The cops don't love me driving any of my other cars. As for the engine, it honestly runs amazing right now, but in about 2 minutes here, we're gonna start to see some smoke coming up right there. And that is because the passenger side valve cover is pissing all over the up pipe. So she needs some valve cover gaskets. Again, minor, it's not that bad. Next thing I wanna show you guys is on the interior of the car. So she's got some gauges. Unfortunately, the boost gauge is in bar instead of PSI. Got a voltmeter and some kind of temp gauge. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be coolant or oil, but this is quality, and I'll show you why it's quality. Quality install. Absolutely nothing securing this down whatsoever. She's just chilling there. Another thing that this thing has right now is this JVC double din deck, and I honestly hate it. You push the screen and it feels like you're touching 3 feet away. Like the screen compresses in before you actually get to touch it. So that's probably gonna go. Next thing that's wrong with this absolute unit of a daily. Airbag lights on. And the reason the airbag lights on is because the previous owner put a quick release steering wheel on this car, and he must have spun the clock spring out or something because the turning signals don't cancel themselves out and the horn doesn't work. So all of these signs point towards a bad clock spring. Another reason the airbag light is on in this car is because the owner before the owner that I bought the car off of was a little bit bigger of a guy. So he didn't like the stock WRX seats. So he put some legacy seats in them and he blew the side bolsters right out of these things. If you look at the side bolsters on these seats, I can literally just flop them around like crazy. They are not solid at all. This one's good, but that one's blown right out. Another thing with the legacy seats, they don't got no bum warmers in them. So the factory seat warmer switches do absolutely nothing. And I'm pretty sure these seats don't have airbags in them, whereas the stock ones do. But that's no big deal because he gave us the stock seats with the car. Now the passenger one just needs to be cleaned up. It's mint. The driver's seat has seen better days, not gonna lie. So I might try and find some seats out of a car that's getting parted out or the wrecker yard or something like that, because these ones are kind of nasty. She definitely ain't as clean as the STI. That's okay, because she's a daily. Another thing with this car that kind of does suck is how rusty this thing is. Now it doesn't look that bad from a distance, but one thing I did notice once I brought the car home was how uneven this rear quarter is. And it looks nice. Whoever fixed this did a not half bad job. To be honest with you, the paint is matched pretty good, but if you look right here, you can see a little scratch in the paint and it's pink under there, which means Bondo. And I don't know how much of that entire panel is Bondo, but we're not gonna worry about it. I'm just not gonna touch it because all this thing is gonna see is snow and salt and sand. So as long as she looks good from 50 feet away, she looks good to me. But on this side, they didn't do as good of a job paint matching. You guys can probably see on the door there, there's that line where they used a different kind of tone of paint, but it is what it is. Now that I've given you guys kind of a walk around and a breakdown of everything that's wrong with this car, we need to go beat the shit out of this thing for scientific testing purposes. No, I'm just kidding. There's just no better feeling than absolutely shit whipping a beater. So let's go have fun. This thing fucks. Kind of smell coolant though. Uh-oh, boys. Oh, how did I not know? This is my first video with this car. And it drove perfectly fine all the way home. I bought the car in Red Deer. If you guys don't know, I am from Alberta, Canada. So I drove down to Red Deer to pick up this car. Drove it over an hour back home to where I live, which is near Edmonton. And it was completely fine. Now I just beat on it pretty hard for like 10 minutes and we got a problem. First problem, and you guys can probably see it now, all the smoke coming up there from the up pipe because there's oil pissing on her. Next problem, in the expansion tank there, you guys can't see it, but if you guys could see in there right now, that coolant level is rising like crazy and there's bubbles in it. A lot of bubbles too, while the car's idling. So we got a problem. That means that there is exhaust gases getting into the overflow reservoir. Now that I'm thinking of it, yesterday when I drove the car home, that coolant reservoir was right at the top. I thought the guy just overfilled it, didn't think anything of it, but I came out today and started it and the coolant was at the bottom of the tank. And now it's rising again. Part of me is upset about this, but the other part is like, those valve covers suck to do in the car anyways. So if I pull the engine, I'm probably just gonna do timing belt, water pump, valve cover gaskets, and the head gaskets all at the same time, because why not? Then we got a good, reliable daily. Well, I either blew a head gasket on my first day of owning a WRX, or I bought a WRX with a blown head gasket. I don't know. Either way, the engine needs to come out of the car so that we can make her a good, reliable winter daily. So I hope you guys like the new car as much as I do, even though it's a shit bag. It's gonna be pretty fun to rebuild and get her back on the road, because what's more fun in the winter than driving a Subaru? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the new shitbox down in the comments below. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.